let's talk about black crazy ants, probably the most successful ant species in the entire world. These are black crazy ants. Like the other types of crazy ants that we have, they're named for their kind of erratic, patternless movements that look kinda crazy. Now, nobody knows exactly where the black crazy ants originate. People think that they might have come from somewhere in Africa, but have spread globally except for Antarctica, becoming the most successful and unfortunately the most invasive species in the entire world. Or at least ant species in the entire world. And these guys have some very, very cool adaptations that make them so successful and so invasive. To start off, they are omnivorous, meaning they will eat pretty much anything they can get, that being other insects, honeydew from things like aphids or scale insects or mealybugs, fruit, plant matter, carcasses, pretty much anything. They're also nomadic, spreading from place to place. They don't really have an established nest for very long. They don't stay in one spot for an extended amount of time. They just usually keep on moving, which again allows them to spread very, very quickly. But the most interesting trait, and the one that makes them so stupidly successful, is their weird hierarchy and weird genetics. To start off, these guys usually have many, many queens instead of just one queen like is found in many other ant species or other social insects like termites and bees. And some species of ants like the Asian bullet ant have no queens at all. Except these guys can have between 8 and 16 individual queens. Now again, this isn't unheard of. Other ant species like weaver ants are capable of having multiple queens. But these guys take it to a new level, because black crazy ants are pretty much immune to inbreeding. They can breed among themselves as much as they want without suffering any ill effects whatsoever. And this is done by a process of double cloning. So there's kind of 3 main castes of black crazy ants. There's the queens, the males, and the workers. The workers are the ants that just kind of perform all of the everyday tasks. They're produced like normal through sexual mating between a queen and a male, and they have a mix of both the genetics from each parent. But the double cloning is where things start to get weird. The other 2 types of ants that are produced, the males and the queens, are exact clones of their parents. The female queens have only the genetics from the original queen that bred and produced them, and the males are exact clones of their fathers, the ant that mated with the queen. Now this is really weird. It's vaguely an example of male parthenogenesis, which pretty much never happens at all, because that's just not a thing in biology really ever. But the unfertilized egg, which goes to make the males, only has genes from the father, and the eggs that go to make the queens have only genes from the mother, and workers have mixed genes from both to avoid the problems of the inbreeding. This allows the queens and the males just to mate indiscriminately without having any ill effects from inbreeding. This is also how they get by with having multiple related queens, and when the colony gets too big, some queens and males just split off and form their own new colony to do their own thing. This double cloning method basically allows the black crazy ant population to grow unlimited, which is why they are so ridiculously successful and so ridiculously invasive. Because they don't really have many of the regular checks and balances in place to keep the population from exploding, especially in areas that they're not native to, which is most areas. They don't even have that many natural predators. Now, despite the fact that these black crazy ants are so invasive and so bad for the environment, I do really like them. I think that this is one of the coolest ant species because they have some of the best adaptations seen in any animal species ever, and it has allowed them to become so successful. And it's not really any fault of their own that they're so invasive. They just have really good adaptations, and again, that is no fault of their own.